Hello and welcome to Stick Media on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe now. It's ESTIQMEDIA. What is the focus of the conversation today? It's hashtag End Bad Governance Protest Day 5, and a lot has transpired in the past couple of days. In day 1, we didn't expect the number of persons who came out to participate in this protest, but it was immense and it was intense. Second day, we saw looting take place in Kano. We also saw the agitators, begin to participate wholesomely, but unfortunately, they were able to enter some people's private properties and their shops, and they looted and stole beyond the NCC establishment in Kano, where they went to steal most of the computers and the furniture there. And it set the dust of what, according to the presidency, they were saying that they did not want this protest to take place because some individuals and some nefarious persons would take advantage of it to exhibit mayhem and, of course, take advantage in looting and stealing people's properties. And that's basically why they wanted the protest to be shelved. Well, basically in Lagos, it's been quite peaceful, although we saw harassment of journalists by the security operatives. In Abuja, it wasn't as peaceful as expected because of what Inyesu Wike had said. And then we saw in Kano the protesters with a flag, a Russian flag. According to the protesters, they said that they wanted a Putin system of government. According to them, they feel that if Putin had an interference, or Putin had a way of infusing himself. Like, again, this is basically their line of thought. You remember the Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, most of them were having conversations with Russia to provide them ammunition and also have some business diplomatic arrangement with Russia. That is basically what it meant, where the Northerners were raising up the Russian flag. A couple of them were even saying, we don't want Tinubu to be part of us anymore. We want him to resign. And they were asking for a military system of government to be implemented. Now, we know what it is to have military system of government. You do not have freedom of speech. You do not have freedom of mobility. Even journalists cannot actually ask certain questions like they would. And basically, your response will be pro-government. But for the people to say this is what they want and that they're tired of the system of governance under a democratic dispensation, it tells you how dire things has gotten. And beyond that, we saw some of the protesters get shot. About more than 50 civilians have been shot, and then some security operatives too have also gotten injured in the hashtag End Bad Governance protest. And today is day 5. Day 5 literally means that based on the president's speech yesterday advising the people not to continue with the protest, well, the people are not happy with the president's response. So this morning, the DSS in Abuja went to Michael Learning's house. He's one of the organizers of the hashtag End Bad Governance protest, and they arrested him at 2 a.m. Now, Learning's friends said that they tortured him and harassed him in the presence of his family members. Up till now, he has not been released. They're asking for his unconditional release. Now, we do not know what the DSS wants to find out from Michael Learning, but it is not surprising that this is taking place because after the president's speech yesterday, obviously, it felt like I have already spoken to you guys like you have been asking me to. I have been able to address you, and I expect that you will stop with the continuation of the protest. Protesters are saying that the president did not address their needs. The president did not even talk about what their agitation is all about. Rather, he used the opportunity to reel out all the prospects and policy implementation of his administration since he came on board, and said no more going back on fuel subsidy at all. That is, they're no longer going to subsidize petrol. That is a done deal. It's not going to happen. But he implored the Nigerian people to be patient with him, which again is one of the reasons why this protest is continuing. They're saying they can no longer hold on. They cannot wait anymore. But there are a lot of critics who say there's a conspiracy theory behind this protest. Some people feel that the Northerners are one of the people who literally do not want this administration to continue because their person is not on board. Now, we recall that during former President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure, we saw that there was a hashtag hashtag EndSARS protest, and the Northerners did not participate. At the time, they said protest was haram. A lot of the young persons didn't come out to participate in the protest at all. They didn't take place. They stayed in their various houses and in their own way showed their own support, but not necessarily actively participate in the protest. So 1 year into President Tinubu's administration, and already the Northerners are asking that they want him to resign. They don't want him to continue with the protest. They're no longer comfortable with him being their president. Exactly what is going on. During the time of Buhari, hunger was, belligerent. We saw the hostile activity of the military administration, military representative at the time during Buhari's administration. We saw his nonchalancy and lackadaisical attitude towards the plight of the people. Insecurity too was also rife. Why didn't the Northerners say something about it? Why didn't they agitate? Why didn't they loot? Why was there no anarchy or breakdown of order in the North? And that is what a lot of, when I say political analysts are talking about, specifically pro APC supporters. So, but the thing is the fact that beyond the conspiracy theories, there is a common denominator which a lot of persons can actually attribute, which is the fact that there is hunger. You want to go to the market to buy foodstuff, you cannot buy. A tuber now is 8,000 naira. In some cases or some locations, it's 10,000 naira. You can't buy tomato, you can't buy pepper. Protein now seems like a big man or a rich man's food. For example, you can buy beans and even fish or meat because they're so expensive. Egg now, one egg is like 117 naira. So if there are no job opportunities, if people are not going to work, if they cannot provide sustenance for their family, what is the next thing for them to do? They begin to steal, and we cannot even afford the situation getting to that point where you're not safe in your home, where you're not safe when you're on the road, where you're not safe anywhere at all. In fact, it's beginning to happen. Whether we like it or not, it's already happening. The kidnapping, the spirit of kidnapping on the rise, and basically for what? For money. You hear crowdfunding, you hear people lying to get money from people via social media because the hunger is in depth, it's really deep, and is eating into the marrow of every Nigerian. So the common denominator that is connecting everyone to galvanize themselves and be part of this protest is the fact that it's affecting every quarter of the Nigerian society. It is not excluding anybody in the hierarchy. Those that have their money are keeping it. Those who want to invest cannot invest because they don't understand how the economic trajectory of the country would go. So today is day 5, and a lot of persons are going to participate today. They're not comfortable with the president's speech. They're saying that they don't like what the president said, they don't support what he disclosed, and that they would ensure that for the 10 days they will continue to protest until he decides to address their needs. So the question now is, after day 10, then what? What will happen after day 10 if they're saying it's 10 days they require to go on with the protest? So stay tuned right here on Estic Media, and of course we'll continue to give you updates as the protest continues.